Hi, I'm Josie Brightwell, and this is my video on the implementation of SAE programs. So looking at number 1, we are discussing the findings of Relic and his study. In particular, he discussed numerous reasons that agriculture teachers incorporate SAE within their programs, and we're looking at what stuck out to me. So the main things it told us was that you can use it to teach record keeping. It can be used in furthering FFA degrees as like a requirement. And then that is a part of what we call the 3-circle model. I wouldn't necessarily say there was like a specific thing that stuck out to me, because growing up in Georgia, we've always heard SAEs are very vital. It's part of our 3 components of SAE, classroom, FFA. But it is one of the 3 pivotal parts. So I wouldn't necessarily say it stuck out to me, as well as we use SAE as a part of point system for like different degrees, proficiencies, etc. So number 2, the agriculture teachers identified numerous changes with students' lives. So it could be changing family dynamics, structures that create limitations for implementing these SAE projects. Then the question is, what student-related limitations have I encountered when working with students? So I'm entering my 3rd year at Brooks County High School, which is a very, very small rural school in South Georgia on the Florida line. My demographics, we are rural, but I wouldn't necessarily say I have more of like the farm kids. We're not city, but I'm low income. So a bunch of my students don't have the means for a livestock project, a garden, row crops. So my kids I'm having to give them seeds to take home that they might not grow because they don't have the best home life. They don't have the mama to help them water their plants. So it's more of me saying, okay, let's do this in the greenhouse. Can you be in charge of our class rabbit? Can you do this? There's little small things that I've had to incorporate to help them, because it's very hard for me to give a student an SAE project that they will actually be able to complete and continue. Not saying I don't have some students with outstanding SAE projects, but it's harder than not to get them to finish them out. Okay. Number 3, the agriculture education system caused issues with SAE. Both the award system as well as approved SAEs for FFA awards do not necessarily fit today's students. I would say I do kind of see this, because FFA and agriculture, it's constantly changing. Like I've said, I've had to create things for my students to do. So whether okay, you cook at home, you bake, okay, every time you cook or bake, I need you to make me a list of the agriculture products you put into your cooking. So that's a way. I did record keeping. They weren't necessarily selling anything or making money or having this huge project, but they found the agriculture list and they looked up where the ingredients came from, where were they grown. I have students taking care of their pets, because like we have plant systems, we have livestock, we have ag mechanics. Like some of these things are very hard for today's students, because also times are different. Our students aren't out working every day after school like they were when my parents were in school. Okay. Number 4, considering the aforementioned concepts, what is your philosophical approach to SAE in your agriculture education program? Is SAE truly the engine that makes ag ed work? Why and why not? Hold on, my computer is dying on me. So sorry. I'm going to be brutally honest. I suck at implementing SAE in my classroom. And I think it's because my students don't feed into it. And that could be totally like my fault. But it's really hard for me to get those kids that don't have the projects to do it. Now, my kids that have SAE projects, yes. Like my true ag and FFA kids, those kids are making record books. Those are the kids that were leading up to proficiencies, things like that. Is that totally right in the way I do it? No. So my students still do an SAE, but it's not to like the full extent of what I would have done in high school. Like, their requirements aren't as hard. I've lessened the load because, in my opinion, it's not fair for me to penalize them on what they can't accomplish. Not saying they can't, but not every student has the means. Okay, number 5. Discuss there appears to be a disconnect between the theory and practice of SAE. From your perspective, is this true? Why, and what can be done to address? Reaching off of my last one. Yes, there is a huge disconnect. And I believe it stems with how we categorize SAEs as well as how we implement them as teachers. Am I going to try to better myself this year with SAEs? 110%. I am implementing a school garden. I'm implementing more class pets. I'm going to have jobs for those students who tell me, Ms. Brightwell, I cannot have an SAE project at home. Okay? I know it's supposed to be supervised outside of school, but if you have to come during another class, come water the garden. If you're coming before school starts or after to feed the chickens, the rabbits, that's cool. So I think it falls hand in hand on how we present SAEs as well as how we take and identify what these students are calling their SAE projects.